So we're here today at the Oscar viewing party for the Robey Theater Company fundraiser here at the LA Center Studios, downtown Los Angeles. And I'm here with the founder, Danny Glover of Robey Theater Company.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
So, Mr. Glover, being a founder of Robey Theater Company, what is it that got you into being involved in theater to want to start your own company with co-founder Ben Guillory?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, all due respect is due to really Ben. And credit Ben for all the hard work that he's done. He used my name at times and supported the concept. But Ben is the one who's gathered the resources, both human and financial resources, together to make this work. And without his tenacity, without his passion, without his vision, we wouldn't be talking about Robey Theater Company, which is now about to celebrate 20 years. Yeah. So we both come out, Ben and I are contemporaries. We grew up together in San Francisco. We knew each other. We studied at the American Conservatory of Theater in San Francisco. And we come out of a theater background. One of the first projects that Ben and I did together, which really was a step in our own transformation and growth as artists, was The Blood Knot in a little student project in 1976. So Ben is always pushing so much and so many times. He's pushed me so many places. Without Ben, I don't discover Fugard. And without Fugard, I'm not an actor.
Where do you see the future of Robey going, coming into its 20th year?
Well, I think a great deal of the foundation has been laid over the last 19 years. And I think that vision is that we have to find ourselves central to the ideas of using art in some way in which they're transformative. What is the work that transforms us as human beings? What is the language that we create in the 21st century? Why do we bring young people in? How do we now build links between the various generations and various cultural and also ethnic groups? Those are the kind of stories that are important.
I totally, absolutely agree. And by you bringing that up, it put me in the mind frame of Bronzeville, which was also a collaboration of the Asian American community and the African American community.
Absolutely.
Given the Playwrights Lab being one of the prominent programs and workshops at Robey, what do you think the relevance and influence of having such a workshop is in Los Angeles?
Well, the important thing with a workshop like that, the Playwrights Lab, is that we learn the process of writing a play. Often we leave ourselves absent of a process. A playwright acts as a singular individual in the process of working out his ideas. Those ideas have to be now tested in a place where they become now a collaborative piece. Because a play ultimately, even though it's a playwright's vision, concept, and everything else, becomes a collaborative piece between the artist, the actor, and the audience itself. So those are important. The playwright is essential for that. And several things have come out of that Playwrights Lab that would not have matured had not they had that process laid out for them.
You speak of the process and collaboration in theater. As an actor, how has theater influenced your career?
It established the first thing for me, the first stage in art, because you have to be grounded in what you want to do. You have to be grounded and say, what stories do I want to tell? What stories are important? And most importantly, what side in the world am I on? And theater is the perfect platform for that, because often you don't get that experience when you're doing film. You may get an opportunity to tell a story via film, in which you are now, in that you see your story or see the vision of what you want to be, how you want to be seen within the industry, within that. But you don't always do it. So you have to have a place where you're grounded in ideas. Theater is a place of ideas, transformation, and because the audience is so immediate, right there, because the relationship happens in that single moment for that one 2 hours, a period, whatever period of time, then it, in a sense, that is the building structure, I think, of real art, in a sense. Because now you have a collaboration that changes every single performance, every single night. The collaboration between the artist, the audience, all those things are happening right here. And so I think that theater is the home of that. And before we had screen, before we had film, before we had all the various other ways in which we communicate via derivatives of film, we had theater.
You speak so passionately about the craft, and you brought up movies. As an actor, having done theater and film, how do you see non-traditional casting in theater different than that for casting in Hollywood for black actors?
You know, when you talk about theater, when you talk about non-traditional casting, one thing about theater is that because you have hundreds and hundreds of years of work, of writing, hundreds of years of ideas. And so what you have is a library, whether it's Chekhov, or whether it's Shakespeare, or whether it's Lorraine Hansberry, or whether it's Arthur Miller, or whether it's Ethel Fugard, or whether it's Lonnie Elders, or you go on and on and on and on and on and on. The libraries you build, that's all part of the same library. You know, they may be different, written from different historical vantage points, maybe different and different racial, ethnic standpoints, but it's a library of the human journey.
Now, Mr. Glover, of the theater productions that you've seen of Robey, any workshops that you may have sat in on, who are some of the company members that may stand out to you, whether they're writers or directors or performers or people behind the scenes as producers and assistant producers? Anybody come to mind?
Well, I don't want to put out anybody because I think we're all in a family. This family makes their own specific contribution, and all those contributions have been essential to Robey's developing and expanding his visions. You know. But I can say you'd mentioned Brownsville. I mentioned Johann. We can mention the recently Anna Lucasa. Or the Raisin in the Sun with Ben's performance, a nuance, different kind of nuanced performance. I did a Raisin in the Sun in 1975, you know what I'm saying? And so there's just so many different kind of, ways in which every single one of them is added to the legacy and added to the strength and vision of Robey.
My last question for you, Mr. Glover, is, are there any specific plays that you would like to see Robey produce in the next 2 years?
I can't think of any right off. I think that I'm excited about whatever the choices are, but I can't think of anything right off right now.
Thank you, Mr. Glover. Right. This is Vanoy Burno, sounding off for Robey Theater Blog.
How are you? Oba Babatunde here. Nice to meet you as well.
How are you doing tonight? It's a very energetic night.
It's a wonderful night, and I'm thrilled to be here in support of the Robey Theater. I happen to know Ben Guillory and also Danny Glover from the inception of when they started this company, and they do great work. And it's important that I be here to support and help raise funds for this effort of continuing the Robey Theater to be able to continue, because they provide young people and older people with an opportunity to have really quality work, and that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
I've had a 26-year career in theater, film, and TV, and I continue to plug along and dream big, and with my husband now started a production company.
Right. Nice to meet you. What's your name? It's Julius Tenen. I'm a producer-actor. I've been acting for over 30 years, but now I'm focusing more on producing because necessity is the mother of invention. And so we had to put together a production company so we could find great narratives for an African-American woman of a certain hue who happens to be my wife. And that's what we've done. And so now we're looking forward to what the future holds.
What does the future hold for you guys? Do you have any plans?
Well, plenty. I mean, we have a slate of films. Several. And we're just aiming to get those things produced. And it's a lot of hard work to do that. You realize as an actor it's a lot of hard work when you're on a set, but it's equally as hard to get projects done and made. So you just have to keep working hard and focus, and then it can happen.
I've been nominated twice for an Oscar.
She's been twice nominated.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your Emmys.
I'm so honored to be honored here this evening. This is a wonderful event, and I'm on the board of the Robey Theater and have been for some time. Of all the work that I've done over the years, of course, theater is my first love, though I've work in all of the medias.
What's it like growing and shaping yourself in such an artistic sphere?
Now that's a terrific question. I wish I had a terrific answer for that. What's it like growing and shaping yourself in such an artistic sphere?
Because to become a strong African American actor, there are those underlying factors and obstacles in which you have to overcome.
Absolutely. There's an old saying that life for me ain't been no crystal stair. That's a Langston Hughes poem, and I can say that in showbiz, life for me ain't been no crystal stair, but it's been a stair that has helped to shape, I think, my character, put my character to the test, and of course, my foundation is in my love for the craft. And that's why I love stage and the Robey Theater so much, because it pays so much attention to the craft of acting, the craft of being an artist, as opposed to being a star or a famous person. And that's what I am grounded in and dedicated to. I started out in the original production of a Broadway play called A Raisin in the Sun, opposite Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee in 1959, when I was 12 years old. So now you have an idea how old I am.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Okay. And that was my start on Broadway. And I've been at it ever since. So something struck a chord, and here I am.